but yeah, so he uh you got I think there's like a montage, right? Like of you guys getting ready and you having this conversation, and there's like dark, like there's like tense like cello playing like dum 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 dum, as you guys are kind of like leading up to this. It's like this epic music that's kind of like you're getting ready for this confrontation. And then we kind of like fade out of that as you guys like walk into the palace or whatever, and Averio does one of these like look back, like hand on his sword, and like stalks after you, like taking up the rear. And so Vada's there, and he has he's you guys you and actually you and Averio walk in by yourselves. So they're gonna like go in at different times into the palace. So you guys go in, and you're supposed to go to a certain place, and then we see that, in the montage we see Vada with the two twin Inquisitors, Lidio and Denzia. They're kind of like flanking him. And then we see, they have like some of the Inquisitorial Guard with them. And yeah, so you guys are, marching towards this place, and you guys kind of like meet in this, like in the room adjacent to the room that she's going to bring him to. In like some off west wing of the palace. And so yeah, we get this,
Mustafar.
Yeah. You and I think it's like you and Averio in one room with like one or two of the Inquisitorial Guard, and then the other people in like there's the middle room, and then there's like two rooms on the side that like have doors leading into it, and so that the other Inquisitors in the other room, you and Averio are kind of like he's just standing at the ready, like hand on his sword, just kind of like waiting tensely for something to happen. What are you doing? Because they haven't arrived yet in the room. You haven't heard anything.
Let's get an aura reading actually of
For sure.
everyone who's here.
Okay.
Doop. So who else
You're
here?
just trying to read the mood of people.
Yeah, is Vada here himself? Or...
He's in the room over. You can still make an aura reading roll. Like, you don't have to see the person. You know they're there, right? Like, this is a second sight anyway.
Okay.
So, yeah, you can just make a ob 2, and then you can get a general sense of moods.
Okay. Oh, what?
Oh wow, that was
Really?
a really bad roll.
Zero.
So bad. Yeah, so you're distracted, man. You're so tense. And yeah, the second sight just isn't coming to you. I think Averio gives you a little bit of a strange look when your eyes suddenly start glowing, but he doesn't say anything and tell you. Yeah, yeah. He looks at you. You say that. He's just like nods. All right. Yeah, but then we time passes, and then you hear voices, from a little bit of a distance off, and then you hear the door opening in the room next to you, and you hear your brother's voice pretty clearly, from the other room, saying, "I don't understand what's so serious about this. Ibana, you're being vague. I'm trying to protect you, and you're not letting me." And Epina's like behind him, and then like closes the door, and like you can't obviously see any of this, but you kind of get a gist of what's happening by the sounds. So like the door closes, and Epina's voice enters the room, and she says, "Father, this is something that I can't say unless we are alone. It's so hard for me to say, Father." And you can tell she's struggling with something. She's struggling with the whole situation. Probably she knows what's gonna happen. She's just like, oh. But
yeah.
There's like a creak of a chair or something that you can hear. And this is all muffled like through the walls, but you can kind of get because you guys are like deathly silent, like listening and waiting. So you hear like a creak of a chair, and then another creak, and then like the camera kind of pans through the wall, and we kind of see Elon, your brother, sitting. There's like this small table in the middle of the room, and they're sitting in chairs next to each other, and Elon like reaches out to grasp Ip in his hands, like almost fatherly. Like you can tell it's almost pains him to do it, because like it's like, well, it's like awkward for him, but like he tries anyway, and he kind of like grasps her hand. He's like, "You can tell me anything, Ipina, anything at all. Has someone hurt you? I should have open flogged that fool of a man. No, father, it's not that. No one's hurt me. I'm fine. It's something else." And like you're not entirely sure what the signal is going to be to like go in, but like you're more or less like the Inquisitorial Guard are like ready to go, and they're wearing like this red uniform or whatever. And they're like there are two of them in the same room with you, but they're like gearing to go, and they know some signal that you're not aware of, but they're gonna go out first, and then you're gonna go with them.
Okay.
But they're just waiting, and then you hear these voices still continuing, and Ipina says, "Father, I'm pregnant."
That's what I thought.
And there's a very long silence. "So you lied to me then. Someone did hurt you. I will flog the meat from their bones. You tell me who it is." No, father,
Okay, so, well, wait, I can't hear you. You're moving in slow motion. What's going on?
Thing is kind of breaking.
Okay, I think you're back. Yeah.
Okay. She he says that or whatever, and then Ipina says, "No, father, no one hurt me. I
assume.
I think it's Alphonse's."
Wait, but that's been a while.
It has been a while, and that was the thing I wanted you to notice.
Oh.
She's been hiding very well the fact that she's like 3 months pregnant. It had like for
wait, this is true.
Oh yeah. Like you don't know this. You have no you don't know this, but like in canon we like kind of zoom in on her like her belly, and like you can see that like there's a little bit of a thing there, and it's very unnoticeable. Like for the way that her body is, for whatever reason, like it's just not as noticeable as it might have been on another person. But like now that you once she says it, it seems obvious. But I mean, she's been locked in her room for most of the last few months. So, and then I think like we get, because like obviously you don't. Well, okay, make a perception test for me.
Perception.
Yeah, because perception can also mean like memory and stuff like that. I just want to see if you can kind of like flash back and think about like the fact that, oh, wait a second, maybe she actually is pregnant, kind of a thing.
What's the ob?
Up to you. Yeah, for sure. So I think what we get is we get like a little short flashback sequence where we kind of like see all of these different like times you talked to her or saw her from a distance, or the times you talked to her, and you see that like she was purposely wearing some very like flowy dresses that don't cling to her very tightly, and like things like that just make it a lot less noticeable. And like even in the moment where like she was in this in the pond and came up to you, that was like a last minute like ditch effort to try to get rid of this guy, and so she was just hoping beyond hope that you wouldn't notice. And yeah, I mean, Sergio just didn't notice because this is awkward, I'm looking away, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you think back on it now, and I don't know how you would react to this, but like you realize, oh crap, she actually is.
But wait, didn't the Alphonse thing happen like years ago?
No, it was 3 months ago.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
It was only 3 months.
It was basically right before they got tried.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, we have a little Lannister baby.
Pretty much. This is what Jared decided this game was gonna be.
No. Oh, my family.
Your family is so messed up. Yeah, it's very
Why?
true. Yeah, and I think like he's just deathly silent.
I burst out. What? No, I'm with your dad on this one. No.
Yeah, I think you come in there. How dare you, young lady? But I
Cool,
think
bro. We cool.
yeah. I think Averio gives you a look like, what's that about?
I'm probably like shocked as well.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and I think he says,
just a sigh.
I will kill him. I will kill him. I should have done it when I had the chance. I shouldn't have let them take him, make him a Crow Inquisitor. What have I done? And like you hear like the creak of a chair and like it crashes on the ground and like he's like pacing back like through the room and like Ipana's like trying to like calm him down. No, father, no, please. I love him. No, don't. And then you hear a scream. And you hear her go, ah! And like she like falls and then the Inquisitorial Guard looks at each other, and then you hear like a shrill whistle from like the other room, and then the Inquisitorial Guard like like goes through the through the door and into the room. Do you like follow close behind?
Yep.
Yeah. So they're there. What's his name? Vada is there with the twins and the rest of the Inquisitorial Guard. There's about 5 Inquisitorial Guard altogether. And yeah, they're all standing there, and Ipana's on the ground, like clutching her, just like clutching her arm because like she banged it against the cold, like the hard floor. Elon is like looking at for like the split second that you can see, he's like looking at his daughter like oh crap, like I'm sorry, I didn't like I knocked you over, I did not mean to do that. And then he looks over, sees Vada, his eyes just go dark. And he like grabs a knife from like his boot, and he's like facing Vada. Vada's just standing there like hands out, like, you knew this was coming, Elon. And he just like gives him a dark look.
Yeah. Okay. So. Yeah, so we're all out in there.
Yeah, you're all out there.
There too,
yep.
Then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Probably give Ipana a look, like...
Really?
What?
Crap, lady!
They could have at least told me beforehand, like... Come
on. Yeah. So... Yeah, so I mean, Elon's looking at Vada, and then he like glances over at you, and his eyes just go even darker, and he's just like, "Curse you, Sergio! Curse you to the abyss! I hope you rot!"
I just, like... I'm sorry, brother. This has to be done. You're bringing the knights in. It's too far. The city's already a bloodbath.
Mm-hmm. He just shakes his head. He's like, "That doesn't even matter now. They're already here. They're already massacring the square."
Wait, they're already here? No, I thought they were further out.
Nope.
Oh, did this already happen?
Yeah, that was the thing.
What?
Yep, that was the thing I wasn't going to tell you.
No. I can't change time when it already happened.
Right, well that's the thing. Like I was going to, if you would have convinced him to like have them do something else, it wouldn't have worked. Like he would have tried. But the thing is like they're too bloodthirsty. They've been promised heretics and they were going to go in it no matter what. So, but you could have convinced him, and you could, there was a chance that you could have done something to change his attitude. But yeah, at this point, he just hates your guts. So,
yeah.
yes, I mean the Inquisitorial Guard are like pointing swords at him. Averio kind of looks at you like, should I have my sword out too? Kind of a look, like hand on his hilt.
Yeah, probably.
You just kind of nod, and he brings out his sword.
Like, get ready.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So
I think like Vada kind of like looks at you and just like, do you want to take this? Like,
yeah. So okay. So yes, I didn't want it to come to this, but I'm taking my position back. I would hope that you'd have the sense to stand down peacefully. I really don't want this to come to violence. We won't harm you, right? Shoot a look to Vada.
Yeah, I mean,
but if we can have
he does not make any sort of gesture or movement. He just like stares at you.
But if we can have your cooperation,
and yeah, you're saying this, and he just starts cursing at you. He's just like just cussing you out. He's just like, I cannot believe you foolish coward. You failed when you faced me directly, and so now you're coming behind me. You're going to assassinate me. Is that what this is?
I mean, no, not an assassination. I just said that, but
right. I mean, he doesn't really believe you.
Yeah. No, I mean, words. So what is the I mean, does Vada have like as far as getting everyone to immediately recognize,
so he has a faction that he's kind of garnered favor for to like a bunch of several bishops and priests and inquisitors and theologians and stuff like that that he's basically gotten a promise from that they will back you up. There will probably be unrest and maybe bloodshed no matter what happens here, in some sense, because again, like, there's going to be half the church probably that does not agree with this. There's a possibility you might be able to do this peacefully, but I mean, a lot of people aren't going to like it at the very least. But you have enough favor that, like, if they all made a like concerted stand and said, hey, nope, Sergio's the priest, or Sergio's the pope, like, don't mess with us, there's a chance they might just back down, if you play the cards right here. I mean, but yeah, one of the main things would be to get Elon to step down peacefully. If you have to kill him, that's probably not gonna go well.
Yeah. Was part of the thing, I mean, now we could technically have him tried for assaulting his daughter too.
I mean, that's kind of a flimsy charge there.
Yeah, true. Was that the point of it, though? I thought.
No. The point was just to get her to get him alone, right? Like, because this would have been like the only thing that he would have been alone for if his daughter was like pleading with him, please, can we just have some father-daughter time so I can share with you this really important dark thing that just happened, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably guards nearby though. Like you know what I mean? Like, there's only going to be so long before someone's going to come and check on him. You know,
Mm-hmm.
even if he did legitimately send away his guards, which he might not have. Like, they might just be right there. You know, you checked as much as you could, but, you know, you can't necessarily just, like, know for sure whether or not there aren't guards around. Because you don't want to, you know, show yourselves, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so how do you want to play this? Because, I mean, he basically just says no. Like, I'm not going to give up my position. You'll have to kill me. And I know you won't do that, Sergio. You're too good of a man for it. So now we're at an impasse. I won't step down. You won't step up. The city burns. And this is the thing. You can try to make a roll here. We could make this into a duel of wits if you wanted to. There's several things we could do here. That's one of the things the duel of wits is actually good for, is when someone has such a high will like that, and there's a very little chance of convincing them. If you do a duel of wits, then there's stakes that are set. There's terms that are set, and if you there's more or less always going to be a compromise that happens in the middle there. So if you set your stakes really high, if you set your terms to be you step down and like, or even more than that, like you basically get behind me and you support me into this, you might be able to compromise in the middle and say like you step down, kind of a thing.
True. Okay, yeah, we could try that.
Want to try that?
Well, have I? No, well...
You were there for it. You didn't... Yeah, Alphonse, or Avion was the one who did Jared's character from your Rage Wins. Okay, yeah, let me pull this up here then. So I'm going to show the Duel of Wits cards. They're on the bottom there. Let me drag you to another screen here. So the way we'll do this here is go ahead and click choose there. And then you'll see all the different available cards. So those are the different actions that you can take. The way we'll do this is we'll have volleys of 3. And
drool, run screen.
Yeah, well, you would only have those if like you failed the thing. I mean, I guess you could choose to do it if you wanted to, but yeah. So Duel of Wits. Let me grab the sheet for that. There is a Duel of Wits handout in. Where is this? Oh. There we go. There's a Duel of Wits handout in the at the bottom of the journal. In handouts, there's a little folder there. You can reference. So Duel of Wits. What you're gonna do first is I gotta find this thing. All right, first things first, statement of purpose. State your case. Describe your point and why you're right. Once you've stated your case, write it out. So what is your point here? That, I mean, I guess it's more or less self-explanatory. Like, the city's going to crap. You're not doing a good job. I need to take your place.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. And his is, you don't know how to run a country. I do. You know, you're a criminal for one, and you're betraying your country, your church, and everything you ever stood for. You should leave now, kind of a thing. Like you should not be a part of this. What are the terms? So, what terms do you give him? That like what do you want him to do if you win? If you just flat out win with no compromise whatsoever.
If I just flat out win, he resigns and also helps with the transition to my, like, he makes the transition favorable, and
right.
So yeah, publicly resigns and then helps with the attitude. So it
right. Okay. His terms are. Sergio renounces his. I'll speak to you actually, Elon. You renounce your position in the church. So like you stop being a pardoner. And you accept accept banishment. From Ceran. Yeah. So yeah, you renounce your position of the church and you just leave. So he never has to see you again.
Okay.
And this is the thing, like a duel of wits can ultimately you can't just convince him to do a thing that he's not going to want to do, but you have a very good chance of, if there's a compromise reached here, that you might be able to actually persuade him to come to terms with the fact that this has to happen if you make good points and stuff. The thing is, though, if like he won, for example, if like Elon won and like just flat out, was like, I'm going to stay the Pope, at that point, Vada would probably just have him stabbed. So
yeah, well, that's like
right.
He's not in a position to be making demands of me, like.
Yeah, for sure. But like, I mean, basically his terms are, the reason he's offering these terms is like, you're all, well, I guess he actually probably adds, and the Inquisition, or like, and Vada also does the same. So basically he's like, you're all betraying the church. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Get wrecked, kind of a thing. Like, and the thing is, yeah, like I think he's probably cocky enough to think that he might be able to convince you guys of this. This is the thing. You have to accept, both parties have to accept the terms for this to happen. But the thing is, like, again, you can escalate at the end. You can just not do it. It's just a matter of, there's a chance that this, if it's role played, if narratively it makes sense for your character to be like, yeah, like that's actually a really good argument, I will do this, then that's fine. But I actually force you to do anything, kind of a thing. So it's possible that if Elon makes a really, really, really good argument, that the Inquisitorial Guard specifically will be like, holy crap, like we should attack Vada and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm pretty sure at least Vada and you will probably not be convinced. To be honest, Averio might be convinced, if you don't make good points and stuff. But we'll have to see. So do you agree with those terms then? Just on a purely arbitrary basis.
I mean, I guess. So.
Yeah. All right. So body of argument roll. So basically you're going to roll to see how many hit points your argument has, basically. So you're going to add your will to your, we'll just go do it simply and say, all right, add your will to your whatever base argument skill you're using, which in your case would be persuasion. So you just add the exponent to both of those, and that's the body of argument.
Okay, so you add your will and the perception or persuasion one?
Yeah.
And no forks or anything, or what is this?
No. So you have a choice. I will give you a choice here if you want. You can roll if you want to. You would add your will exponent to whatever the roll is, and then in that case you can fork if you have legitimate forks, or you can just try to not risk it and just add your will exponent and your base persuasion exponent.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then.
You want to roll?
No, because that would it'd stay with that because I could only add 3-ish maybe forks.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a solid 9 versus a chance between 0 and 13.
Yeah. All right. So he's also gonna just take the plus. So his is actually
a lot because you gave him a crap ton of will.
Yeah, I did. So his is 16. Because he's using the skill he's gonna be using is oratory, and he has an 8 in oratory.
What?
Yeah. This is the thing. This is what happens when you're a pope. you get really, really good at convincing people of things and like making speeches and stuff. And this guy is a really ambitious man, so so I mean, to be honest, if you did actually still want to roll, you could ask Vada and Lidio and Denzia basically to help you with the roll.
Well, yeah, I mean, are they not? I figured we'd be working together.
Right,
so.
yeah, you would be. Yeah, for sure. I'm just saying, like, you could actually probably add their help dice in as well if you wanted to try to make more than a 9 or whatever.
Is there not a way to add in more than one person without rolling like that?
So there's a couple ways you could do this. We could let me look real quick. We could either do it where one person is, one character acts as the primary speaker, in which case you would probably be the primary speaker, and then everybody else would help you on rolls, so that they would make comments and stuff like that. Which, I mean, kind of sounds like what this is going to be, because Vada wants you to have the say in this because you were so adamant about it. Like, like you're the one trying to convince here. Or we could do like a patrol method, so like one player rolls a body of argument, the others help, but then each player takes an action in the exchange, so you speak the part and roll the dice, so like you would take turns speaking. Which way do you want to do it? Because I mean, to be completely honest, Vada's pretty good at speaking stuff too.
Yeah, so
do you want to like tag team it with him?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, sure. So we'll have you roll the body of argument. Or add it, whatever you want to do. You can just have the base 9, or he can help you with his skills. We can add a helping dice, and I think both Lidio and Denzia can also help. At least Lidio. Let me. Denzia, do you have any skills that are relevant? Yep, they can both help with it, helping dice. So you get 2. If you wanted to have Averio help you, you could ask him to. He has Intimidate, which could help.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can just, you could have him be like, so yeah, let me think about how these people are adding to this. So you're just kind of setting up the situation and saying, all right, this is in your own best interests. You should do this thing. Vada, I think Vada, Lidio, and Denzia all just kind of jump in with various flourishes and flowery speech sort of things, because they all have oratory. So they basically kind of like wax poetic at him and say like, it is the time of swords. Like Elon, it is time for you to set aside petty squabbles and let the people reign. Stuff like that. And so they kind of add comments as you kind of set up the base of your argument. Averio, actually, I think because Averio actually has Ugly Truth as a skill, I think Averio, he just adds like a simple point of, the people need a leader. You're not one. You're a schemer. There's a difference. And that's all he says. So if you want to, do you want to try to roll and add all their dice with you?
So can I not just add their dice to the base?
No, and that's the thing with the risk there. Yeah, you can either just add your stuff, or you can try to roll.
So that's a total of how many from other people?
It would be 4 with other people, so you'd have a total of 13 dice.
Okay, and then I can...
Unless you have any other forks you think you could...
Probably fork in philosophy and doctrine and intimidation.
Okay.
And meditation too. Can I do that linked before?
I mean, okay, we could flash back and say you meditated before. Yeah, sure. Yep, we can do that. Go ahead and make a meditation link test then.
What's the roll? The dice for that?
Let me look. Meditation. It's just you can just get 1 dice. So if you succeed between the meditations, let's see. When centering for a versus test or detailed conflict, make a versus test between the meditation skill and the opponent's skill. So unfortunately, I think that would be against his oratory roll. So basically, it's the way it works. Kind of is like you're trying to center yourself and make sure you're focused for this, but he might just be able to speak around you, speak around you in circles, and so just mess up your concentration. So I'll roll his oratory and you roll meditation. And I won't put any forks in. It will just be base.
Okay.
You got a 6.
Oh, okay. Can I fork into the meditation roll?
Let me look. What would you fork into it?
Doctrine, foreign doctrine, and philosophy, as far as drawing on those concepts to help me center myself.
Yeah, sure. Yep, that makes sense.
Sweet. What?
Wow, you're doing so bad with these rolls. Yeah, so this is the thing. Sergio's just so distracted and so tense. Like, he can't focus. This is the thing. He's struggling with all of this so much. It's going against the very fiber of his being to even be involved in any of this. But he's also, yeah, or that, yeah, or the universe is just against him. Okay, so yeah, you can't get any dice for meditation, but you can add any other forks.
Then, yeah. Bloop, 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 bloop. So, that would be doctrine, foraging, forest-wise, falconry.
No.
Basically everything.
None of that.
Oh, okay.
If this was an argument about who was the best falconer, then maybe.
I've always been a good falconer. No, I'll be a better falconer than you. That's such a big part of being the Pope.
Yeah, falconer is a euphemism for being Pope. You just use analogies from falconry.
All right, so doctrine, intimidation, philosophy. Can I fork or read? Or, well, because I failed that.
Yeah, you failed it. Yep. To be honest, you never did it on him, so you can make a link test real quick to or read him real quick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can do that.
2 again, or?
Yep.
Oh.
So close, man. You had that 6, and then you rerolled it, and it was a 3. Man. Yeah, so again, more distraction, more tense.
Everything hates me.
Yep. Yeah, so there you go. I think that's probably all your forks. Good luck.
Could I fork foreign doctrine, even though he's not
a... Give me an argument for it. Why would you speaking or using foreign doctrine help in this situation?
I mean, maybe it doesn't help him, but maybe it helps me to draw upon a foreign, like Taconi references and ways of leadership in their church and things like that.
Right, but like, why would that convince him? Why would that be relevant to your conversation? Well, I guess it would be relevant, but like, I don't... Yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense if you want to like if you want to try to bring up the ancient Tekoni texts as things that you should still pay attention to, like try to make the argument during this Duel of Wits that like, hey, the ancient texts were the right ones. We've been adding on to them too much. That might help. So yeah, that's fine.
Okay, cool. So that is 4 from me, unless I want to lie about things and also get falsehood.
I mean, would there be anything in this argument that you would lie about?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
So, doctrine, foreign doctrine, intimidation, philosophy. 4, yeah. Unless strategy could come into it too.
No.
As far as like handling of the knights and things.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, you could just bring up, hey, dude, I know how this stuff works. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's actually a good point.
Sweet. So then, 5.
You're just trying to get as many forks as you possibly can into this.
Yeah, because I'm gonna roll a 0, no matter how many dice I have.
The chances of you rolling a 0 on this are so astronomical.
Yeah. Okay, so that's 4 from Will, 4 from Forks, 5 from, so 9, 13, and then how many did you say from other peeps?
4.
So 17 dice. No, wait, so 5, 13, no, 12 modifiers, and then, okay. Wow, I got a 9, which was exactly what I would have gotten.
You got a whole bunch of 6s though, dude. You can.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, you can spend a fate to reroll those.
You can open end on that. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Yep, fate can be spent on any of these rolls during the Duel of Wits, exactly the same as they would Persona as well. Yep. The only thing here is that you'll only get a test for the highest roll you make with each skill. So you won't get a million persuasion tests.
So that's 5d6.
That's 3 more successes, so you got a 12. That's much better. All right, so Sergio has 12, and Elon has 16.
47. 16.
This is like, then I just decide to roll instead, and I roll like 40 dice. Yeah, but I think he's confident enough about his argument that it's not gonna matter. He's just gonna do oratory. He's gonna channel the inner speech pope guy.
Inner speech pope.
Yep, the inner speech pope. All right, so basically the way this is gonna work, so you have that back and forth that's gonna happen. Each of us are gonna secretly choose 3 of these cards and lay them in order. So let me. So this. Let's make that black. So put your cards to the right of that, and I'll put my cards to the right of that.
To the right of what?
Of this.
Oh, gotcha.
So you have, S for Sergio and so on and so forth. So just because you haven't done Duel of Wits yourself yet, I'll go through real quick. There's only a few actions. So you can avoid the topic. So the speaking player must veer off topic, even to the point of sounding desperate or ridiculous. And in that case, you basically just you try to. It's like a defense action against me making an attack, and so a lot of this is trying to guess what action they're going to take, and try to counter it. Dismiss is this maneuver is used for the cataclysmic and undeniable conclusion of an argument. Loudly declare that your opponent knows nothing about the topic at hand, and furthermore, he's a fool and a dullard and shouldn't be listened to any further. But if a character fails to win the duel via this dismiss action, you'll hesitate for the next volley. So that's one if you have to be sure that you're going to win it to use that. Feint. Using a feint, the speaker leads his opponent on into a trap. He lures him to think he is discussing 1 point until the hidden barb is revealed. Feint can be used to bypass rebuttal and to attack, feint, incite, and obfuscate. So if you think that I'm going to be rebutting you or feinting or inciting or obfuscating, then you try to feint, try to move it in a different direction. Incite is basically just to, with an acid tongue and biting wit, a character may attempt to distract or dismay his opponent. The speaking player must pronounce an outright insult to his opponent. Obfuscate is a verbal block. The player attempting to obfuscate must present some non sequitur or bizarre unrelated point in an attempt to confuse or distract his opponent. I'm assuming that you'll probably mostly be making points. And point action is the main attack of the verbal duelist. Hammer away using your statement of purpose and related points. And that's just the main attack where you're just like, yep, this is the point I'm making. That's the way it is. But
so
it's not,
for each of these, do I have to have something specific to say?
Yeah. So the way it will work is we'll choose these 3, so lay them out, and then we'll flip over the first card for each of us, and then we'll take turns speaking what this means. Based on what the 2 things are, we'll just take turns making a point or making a rebuttal or whatever in character and role playing it out. And then after we do that, then we make the roll and see how well it goes over. Again, you don't have to wax poetic and make really. You can just paraphrase. Don't have to actually speak it out, but you have to at least narratively just decide what you say and how how you say it.
Is there a way to zoom in on these? So, oh wait, there we go.
Yeah, you click on them.
And so, are these played in order? If I do avoid feint point or whatever, and then you do, or does it match up? If you have
it
a
matches
point,
up.
I have a void.
No. It's based on the order. Yeah. So
okay.
So if you scripted a void and I have a point, then those things will happen at the same time, in order from left to right. Yeah. So it's a matter of guessing what I will do on that first volley and the second volley and the third one. And so you can drag the cards from that little pool there, and then they'll automatically start face down.
Oh, wait, how do you look at them again?
I'll just scroll down. Go ahead and flip. You right click and flip it over. I won't look at it.
Okay.
Yeah, right click and flip it over, and then you can right click again, and then, or you right click and an option will come up to say flip card, and then just flip it over again to when you're done. Tell me.
Okay. Flipping. Okay, I'm good.
You good? Okay.
Wait, no. Where do I want it?
Just keep.
I'll go like that. See what happens.
Okay. You right click on it and flip the first card. All right. Cool. That's good. That's good for you. Huh. Yeah. So basically, I'll start. I'll make a point, and then basically the way rebuttal works is you'll rebut the point, and then you'll make a fresh point of your own. So basically, you'll explain why my point is not relevant, and then you'll make a point instead. Yeah. So Elon, he basically just says, Sergio, we both know that you're not a leader. You let others do the work. You let You work from behind the scenes. That's what you do best. You are not cut out for this. You need to let me continue to lead. You're weak-minded. I'm sorry to say it, Sergio, but you let foreign philosophy and foreign doctrine shape your mind until you're so subjective you're not even sure what to believe anymore. This country needs hard truth. It needs truth that is solid and unmoving. We cannot give ground in this most dire of times. Yeah, that's his point.
Okay.
What is your rebuttal?
So he said something about like him being
he's a better leader than you.
One who needs to like
you're a horrible leader is basically his point.
Can I point out like how unstable he was when I met him and like
for sure, yeah.
He almost attacked his daughter here and he's calling in the so the unstableness of his recent decisions shows that that's not the case. And or does it have to be more like because he was going against me specifically, I have to defend myself?
Well, no. So basically, it just says, the player first lets his opponent make his attack. He then refutes the arguments made while making a fresh point himself. So yeah, I mean, it's a valid. I guess you could. The way you could phrase it is start with saying, "No, I am a good leader, and here's why," and then you make the fresh point of you're actually unstable.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
What would your argument for Sergio as Pope be? What is your campaign speech here? Vote for me.
I know all the best things, and I have many friends, and they know all the things, and they tell me I do good things. And
you sound like Trump, man.
I do are good, and I'm gonna build a wall. It'll keep all the Temple Knights out.
Yeah.
Temple Knights coming in and stealing our jobs.
Well, killing the people who should be doing the job. And then they won't work. They just want to kill more people. What's your actual argument for certain? Because this is the thing. I mean, there is validity to what he's saying, right? Like, you've structured your character not to be the person who's out in front making the decisions. You know, you've made your character to delegate.
Yeah. So he's probably mentioned on how his career, both as a partner and through his travels and stuff, and his coming back and recently working with the Inquisitors, being able to see the world and interact with the people, it's given him quite a bit of experience that while he's not nuanced in the political ways necessarily, I know the people and I know what needs to be done.
And that's more important than knowing the bureaucracy. Yeah. Okay. And then your fresh point is what you said before, which is you're unstable. You knocked over your daughter. You know, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Okay, sure. All right. So the way this works, you're going to, so the skills you can use for rebuttal is extortion, interrogation, oratory, persuasion, poisonous platitudes, rhetoric, stentorious debate, or suasion. The only one of those you have is persuasion. So the base roll will be persuasion, and then you can make arguments for any forks or help dice from anyone else in the situation to give you more dice. And then once we have that pool figured out, you split your dice between attack and defense. So you would, based on how many dice you think he's going to roll, you're going to say, all right, I'm going to use this many dice to defend against the attack, and then this many dice to attack his argument. So basically, defense dice will deplete my successes, and attack dice will attack my argument. The thing with right here is I just made a point, so I don't have a defense. I just attack you. So whatever you have for successes on attack will automatically just come out of my argument with no defense. for me. So
So what happens if we like both have a defensive one?
sometimes there's just nothing happens. Like for example, if like you do avoid and dismiss, nothing happens. Like you guys just you just bandy words and nothing gets solved, and then you move on to the next one.
So like Congress.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. So what is your? So you're using persuasion. What is your argument for? Like, what are you adding into this argument with forks and and stuff? And I'll think about what the NPCs might add as well.
so persuasion, and here I can work. I think all the standard like doctrines, philosophies, as far as like helping the. Here's what I know. Here's what I've seen of the world. I've traveled around, and that point.
Right. So the thing is, like, you haven't actually brought up any doctrinal things, right? You haven't made any philosophical points. You've just brought up the fact that you have this knowledge. That in itself doesn't allow those forks, really, because you have to actually like
Sure.
actively apply it to whatever you're saying. You can add stuff to what you said if you want to get those forks, but
I just figured like the fact that I know these things because he's attacking my character as
right. But that in and of itself doesn't allow you with those forks. That's you're just making a persuasion in saying, hey, dude, this is true about me. But if you want to get fork dice for those things, for knowing those things, and they actually help you with your argument, then you would actually bring up philosophical points or bring up doctrine and throw it in his face. You say, hey, dude, this is what the doctrine says. Like, take that. And feel free to make stuff up too, right? Like, just say, I think that the doctrine would say this about like leadership, and if it makes sense, then I'll be like, yeah, sure. And if there's some contention, if I think that maybe that might not be a thing that the doctrine says, you can legitimately just make a linked test with the doctrine to see if it exists, because that's what you can do with doctrine too. You can just roll to see if a doctrine exists.
I mean, is there anything like, I assume there's like leadership guidelines
Mhm.
in the doctrine somewhere.
For sure.
So,
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of written about what the Pope's role is, mostly by the popes, but you know.
so can I bring up something like, I don't know, like the humility of a leader or
For
something
sure.
like that?
Yep, I think that would definitely be a doctrinal thing that you could bring up. Say, hey, dude, our doctrine says right here, be a humble leader, be a servant leader. You know, like you haven't been that, I have. What? Mic drop.
Mm, can I work in philosophy with that too, like with some more interpretation of that
Right, you can just talk
text?
about in general. Hey, this is how leadership works. Like this is what I've learned from my time in the world. Is the people are receptive to humble and servant-like leadership, not to this domineering way that you go about parading yourself. Yeah.
And foreign doctrine be like the tech will believe that too.
This they believe that. This believes that. Yeah, I mean, sure. Yeah, the 1, 2, 3 punch, right? Like, dude, every philosophy and doctrine that you know or are familiar with, this is what it says. You got to listen to it.
Weird. Okay. That's yeah. So wait, this was so you said there was attack and defense dice,
Yeah.
and
So
this
basically, you're
was
gonna make your whole pool first, and then you'll split it up into attack and defense dice.
oh, gotcha.
Is that what all of it for forks for you? You think?
Um, Can I fork intimidation with some like condemnation of his practice as opposed to
For
like
sure.
especially the doctrine that I've been bringing up? Like,
Yeah,
okay.
here let me find this skill real quick. I just want to make sure I have the right understanding of what this would be. Intimidation is the communication of threat. Yeah, so I mean, you could basically just say, um, you could intimidate him with, "I am a better, like I am the threat here." Like, even if you don't accept this whole thing that we're trying to do here, if you don't step aside, I'll just go among the people, and I'll do it anyway, and they'll accept me as a leader, and then we'll overthrow you. Like, it's gonna happen either way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Hmm. Yeah.
The people love me more than they love you.
Cool. Okay. I think that's good. Unless other people can fork things.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if they have.
yeah, Averio, I think, steps in, and he just says a short statement. He uses ugly truth again, and he says, "I know Sergio. He is a better man than you. I've watched your I've watched the papacy fail time and time again. I've been I've been the victim of church politics. I've never been the victim of Sergio. He's a wise and good man." Like, ugly truth, just like, this is the way it is.
Nice.
I mean, Vada, Vada definitely steps in, and brings up the whole, like, "I've groomed Sergio for this, like,
Oh
like,
yeah.
like,
Oh.
I am the one who set this whole thing up. Like, I know, Sergio. Again, like, similar sort of thing. Like, I've watched both of you, the way you act, and he is the better man. Um, he washes, because he's using oratory for this, so he basically says it like, he washes the feet of the poor and needy, while you force them, while you force them to endure long bloody walks in bare feet, something along those lines. Like,
Nice.
I don't think Lydio. This is the thing. I don't think Lydio and Denzia really actually say a whole lot in this whole thing, because they're just kind of there
Mhm.
to be there. Like, they don't. They're not. Neither of them are really that talkative, especially when Vada's there. Like, Vada's domineering this, if anyone is, besides you. He's
Yeah.
purposely letting you do things and say things, but he's in control. He's trying to make sure he's in control of this conversation ultimately. And if it goes a way that he doesn't want it to go, he'll try to steer it back. So yeah, you can take
Cool.
2 helping dice from them.
Sweet. I
So
think
yeah, you can try to
that's
split that up however you want, and I'll figure out what I'm using for his dice too.
so that's 6 modifiers, so 11 total with the persuasion. And then, so how does it work? You choose how many dice to roll for
Yep.
attack and defense.
You just split up the dice however you want, and go ahead and roll, or we'll all roll this basically at the same time, but like, just write in the chat what you're splitting up the pool to be, like attack this and defense this, so we have it beforehand while I'm figuring out dice for this.
So you wait. So you don't. How does it work as far as attack and defense
Oh,
goes?
as attack, yeah. So basically, the way it will work is, he'll roll his stuff first. Like, you need to make up your defense and attack pool first. You need to figure out what that's going to be, and how much emphasis in your argument you're going to place on attack and how much you're going to place on defense. Because
Okay.
yeah. And so then the way the rolling's going to work, after you figure that out, then he'll roll his attack, and then you'll roll your defense, and your defense successes will negate his attack successes, and then he'll roll it, or then you'll roll your attack dice, and then you'll just you'll take those amount of successes away from his body of argument. So
Okay.
yeah, figure out the way you're going to divide those.
So hold on. So if we just both had a point there, we'd both just be rolling offensive things.
Mm-hmm.
then what's the difference as far as if I rolled the same amount and then it would just be we both have
Yes, but this is
more
the thing. There are different effects
things.
for how much your argument is defeated. If your argument goes untouched through the whole of this, then you win by a landslide and you get every single thing you asked for. If your argument gets attacked at all and depletes in any way, you have to make some sort of a compromise. And how much of a compromise you have to make is based on how much your thing gets depleted.
Okay, so it's better to have
Yes.
less than
Yes.
it is to do more damage.
Yes. If yeah, again, it's depending on how much you're willing to compromise, kind of a thing. So.
Okay. Can I fork strategy as far as being a competent leader thing too?
Part
of that argument.
Yeah. If you want to talk about like and also I know how fighting works and like yeah.
Nice. Okay.
So yeah, actually I'm realizing that he wouldn't be using oratory really to do the main thing of this. He would be using rhetoric. And he has the same amount in rhetoric as he does in oratory. But yeah, because rhetoric is the form of discourse centered on the conveyance of thoughts, ideas, and concepts in the interest of winning an argument. So literally, he's pulling on debate class from way back when, and he's just yeah. He's literally just debating you in the purest sense. Where a lot of what you're doing is trying to do hey, this is in your best interest, trying to make an emotional argument sometimes, persuading him to think a certain way and stuff like that. He's literally just trying to logically defeat your arguments.
All right, we'll do like that.
Okie dokie. Yeah, so he's going to use rhetoric as his base. He's also going to fork in church law. He's going to bring up a point about literally it says in the law, this is illegal. You should be tried for treason, and anyone who is willing to go this far against our country's sacred and God-given laws is obviously not the kind of leader that this country needs. He's also going to bring up doctrinal points about not usurping the authority of the Pope, and basically saying, yeah, like it says right here, like I know you say that the thing about humble leadership or whatever, but you're not being very humble in thinking that you can lead better than I can. And it says right here in chapter whatever that you are going against God by challenging my authority. I think he also forks in heresy-wise, and basically he points out a few of the minor, like, because you're bringing up foreign doctrine and other philosophies and stuff like that. He's bringing up like, all right, there is a heresy that goes right off of that argument. Like the thing you just said, that's a techo heresy, and it leads in this direction, which is not God's will. And nope, you're a heretic. Like, oratory, because he's waxing poetic the whole time, and he's a great speech maker. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. He's also going to bring in suasion. And he's going to basically say, yeah, like it's in the best interest of your immortal soul to stop what you're doing right now, because there's a very big chance that if you actually go through with this, you will be damned for all eternity for actually going through with this horrible, like treasonous act against God's will. Um, and I think that's.
I mean, isn't suasion up to the person deciding as far as whether that affects them?
Uh, Not necessarily. Well, this is the thing. Like, part of this is also convincing the people around you, right? Like, I can't actually convince you if you don't want to be convinced. You know, part of this is like, if he does well enough on all this stuff, then maybe the Inquisitorial Guard will just attack you. And I think Vada definitely sees this threat, and he's working hard to make sure this conversation goes the right way. Yes, suasion. Yeah, suasion is the verbal art of the priest. It's used to enlighten the benighted. The skill allows a priest to convince others to act on his behalf because it's in the best interest of their immortal souls. Yeah, so he's gonna add that. So that's 5, I believe. And I think that's all of his forks. So he's gonna go ahead and roll this. So I'm gonna roll this first, and then you'll go ahead and roll. And because you don't have.
Wait. So how many dice is he getting?
He's getting 13.
Oh, 13.
Yeah.
Well, wait.
Well, that's the thing. You don't know that when you make your.
What? Well, but you knew mine, so.
I didn't. I know. I just used forks that made sense. There were other forks I could have finagled in there. I just did exactly what I was basically planning to do before. I didn't.
Yeah, no. But as far as like the defense versus.
Right. I probably should have just said, "Hey, get that in your own mind and not write it down, and then I'll reveal it at the same time." That's
we both write it, and then.
No, sorry. That's yeah. Technically, I did. I just did it in my mind, and yeah, yeah. I'm not cheating. I'm basically just doing the same thing I would have done anyway. So he's gonna roll this. Then just basically you'll just do /roll 7d6. He's also gonna. He has some fate to work with here, so he's gonna re-roll that. Plus 46. Oof, that's rough. That's only 3.
Oh, yeah.
You can re-roll. You can spend a fate to re-roll that 6 if you want.
Yeah.
Oh, that's tough. Oh man, this is gonna go real bad for you, Trev.
Well, yeah, when you design a character entirely around the duel of wits thing.
This is the thing. I made this character the first session, like way back when, just made him how I thought he would be. I did not plan on any of this happen. Like, this is all just like purely like what I thought the character would be. So he got. But this is the thing, though. Like, this is actually probably what would happen, right? Like, he's a trained rhetorical like debater and stuff, and you've been living in a jungle for half of your life. So let's see, 9, so that's 13, 14, and you got 5. So
also he's under stress, and we have him surrounded, and he just found out his daughter was pregnant, and like,
oh yeah, for sure, yeah,
it's dying around him, like. This isn't exactly a perfect debate here with.
Oh no, yeah, for sure. This is the thing, though, Trev. Like, I can't convince you of this. I can't convince Vada of this. Like, this is not an argument that will decide the fate of. Like, you guys aren't just gonna like. For sure, like, because you're already gonna get an attack on him without any defense on his part. You're gonna there's going to have to be a compromise on his side no matter what now. He's not going to banish you, kind of a thing. Even if he does win, like, you know, kind of a thing. But, so that's, you have 3 left
4
after that.
I rolled.
Or, yeah, like 3 left in your argument is what I'm saying. Yeah.
No,
12. He got 9. And then 4, so he got 13, and then he got another 5 there, so that's 14 altogether that he got on his roll, and you got a 5 on your roll? altogether? 1, 2, 3. No, you got a 4 on your roll.
Yeah, just 4.
Yeah, so it's... Wait a second. So actually you have a 2. Or no. You have a 4. Wait, let me think about this.
Yeah, 4. I got a 6, a 5, and a 5, and then I rerolled the 6.
Right, I'm trying to think of how much you have left in your argument. So you have... So he... Wait a second. He rolled a 9. He got 5 other successes, which means his total roll is 14. Your total roll is 4. So yeah, you have 2 left. Whew, man, he just decimated that.
Yay, random dice rolls. All right.
Yeah, this is the thing. You've had very unsuccessful with all of your dice rolls in this session. Yes, go ahead and roll your attack then.
Whoa, I got 1. Oh no,
You got 2. Yep.
And 1 6.
You want to re-roll that?
I suppose. Nope.
So you got 2. So his is 14. Whoop. Oops. Okay. Well, let's flip over the next card.
Oh,
Yeah, go ahead and flip over the next card there.
What's in sight too?
Okay. In sight, for him is with an acid tongue and biting wit, a character may attempt to distract or dismay his opponent. The speaker must pronounce an outright insult to his opponent. So the way this works, because let's see, you're making a point versus an insight, so it's a standard test for you, and I think for in versus tests. All right, if the insider places or wins the versus test, victim must make its steal test. Okay, so the way it works then, so you're gonna be using persuasion here. He is gonna be using falsehood here because he doesn't. There's only certain skills you can use with this. So yeah, he's gonna be using falsehood. So basically, he's gonna spit an outright lie at you. I think this is where he kind of goes off the deep end, right? Like he basically just says like, "You're working with the devil, aren't you? I knew it. You're possessed, Sergio. You're a man of the devil, and you're a heretic besides." And then he just looks at the Inquisitorial Guard and says, "Kill this swine!" And then you make a point. What's your point there?
I mean, one has to cite exorcism. That's a little much there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I think Averio steps in too, and he says, "Stand your ground, men, or I will cut you down where you stand. We follow the true way." And he's like talking to the Inquisitorial Guard basically, and using intimidation to like get them to like focus. And he's a holy knight, so that has a lot of weight too. Vada steps in too, and he just laughs, and then he waxes poetic about like, "You're just a frail old man in a withering body, grasping onto the last breaths of life you have. Your reign is over, old man." And Denzia and Lydio do basically similar sorts of things and just add on to it and just say, like, "I knew from the moment that I started in the Inquisition that your reign would come to an end, and I am glad to see it happening now, over a swift or a." The sun is high today, and Atarian shines down and exposing your falsehood and your evil. His brother basically just kind of adds on some other points about waxing poetic, and I'm not gonna have to say it, but so yeah, everybody just kind of like piles in here and just backs you up. So 1, 2, 3. You can add 4 dice on whatever you're doing as well. So
okay, so it's persuasion again.
Yep.
Then I'm assuming. I'm not possessed. Falsehood works.
Wow. It's like, where's the point? So standard. Test the ability listed with the action at the obstacle indicated. So yeah, so it's just against an ob 1 for both of you.
Oh wait, for what?
It's just against an ob 1 with that roll for you.
For wait, is this not opposed like the last
Nope,
one?
it's not. Yeah, so basically what you're gonna just take successes off of his stuff right away. Like so I rolled that 4 there. Basically, if I get more than your roll here, then I make you hesitate. So if you roll less than a 4, then you hesitate your next action.
Oh,
so basically it takes you off guard.
Okay, yeah. So philosophy, and then I'll probably intimidation again, get it back on him. Doctrine, maybe like about the demon thing, like those who claim demons are the most likely to have them themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where is it? There it is. So 4 from people. 4 from forks. So 8, and then
Awesome. You got 4 6s there. You can roll.
8. Oh, yay. Decent roll for one. So these count towards the attacks?
Yeah, they just break down his argument. Yep.
Okay.
And the thing is, he did an insight, so because you got more of a roll than him, oh, wait a second. Let's see. If the insight fails, the margin of failure is added as advantage dice to the opponent's next test. So you get so whatever this is. So you were gonna roll those things. Your next test, you'll get added whatever dice. Roll that other 6 again. So you got 2 more successes added onto that. So you got 10.
Do I have to spend another fate?
Nope. Or? Nope. It automatically rerolls.
Oh. Yep. Oh, nice.
Awesome. Another. Yeah. So you got 11. So that means you will get 7 advantage dice on your next roll.
Wow.
So yeah, basically he took a risk there, and he just like spouted off some insult and just like attacked your character, and then you came back and you're like, no, like that's stupid, you're ridiculous. And then yeah, the Inquisitorial Guard, like they're shaken for just a moment, but then they look around, they're like, oh yeah, that was dumb, like like why would we believe that?
Sweet.
Yeah, so I mean, all of that goes against his argument too. So that's 11. So he has a 3. So you guys are pretty much just neck and neck again. All right, flip over last one.
Flip the last one. All right. No, I had another point.
Okay, so it's a flip thing now. So go ahead and make your point first, and I'll rebut it. What's your last point here that's gonna kind of like drive us home? Because this is gonna end no matter what right here.
Um, I mean, we've already been over everything that I can think of. Let's see. What would be new to add to the argument? um, something like, did we mention the guard coming in, or the knights already? I don't know. Maybe mention something like that,
Um,
like the
yeah, I mean, you mentioned a little bit of that strategy stuff, right?
bloodbath
Like,
that's
yeah,
going on is,
yeah,
or well, more like just to say again that like this that's going on here now, the bloodbath outside. That's your doing now. You
yeah,
can't. Yeah.
yeah. You're too dangerous to be a leader still. Like
Hmm.
you're ruining this country. You know, you're the one who just sent those knights to massacre those innocent people.
Sure. Let's go with that.
Do you
Oh
wanna
wait,
do
he
you
could
wanna
also.
try to put up the point that he's possessed? Do you want to turn it on him and try to?
I mean, I don't. I
Because this is the
don't
thing. You
know.
risk sounding
That's
as
not-
ridiculous as he did. But
Yeah.
yeah.
No. Oh, but he has a rebuttal though. So.
Mm-hmm.
mm,
Yeah, you want to try to fit as many forks into this as you possibly can so that you can overcome the rebuttal. Because he can use rhetoric for the rebuttal, so he's gonna have a lot of dice on this. If you bring up enough dice in this roll to just to have enough weight that he can't, you know, you destroy all of his, or I guess you're just being attacked automatically. Yeah, to be honest, I think you're probably just gonna this is probably gonna end in a tie because you're both gonna run out of argument.
mhm. I make a tree analogy on how the city needs deep roots to stand strong, so I can
Mm-hmm.
fork forest wise.
I mean, to be honest, that would be philosophy, right?
Would it? I mean, just an analogy. If I pulled it from a philosophy book, then
Yes, I don't know. Like that's really stretching it there.
yeah.
Like it's a good mental image, but I don't know if it would give you a dice for forest wise. Like
Mhm. I whip out snacks for everybody to show that I care about everyone and I can fork cooking.
no.
No. Okay. I bow real deeply so I can fork. Bow.
Wow. Wow. That's all I'm gonna say to that. Wow.
It says bow. All right. Yeah, so I guess I'll yeah, just attack the his recklessness again as far as his actions and his past, or like especially that last insight and the demons and stuff. But
For sure. Yeah.
okay, what's yeah.
Yeah. I mean, his rebuttal basically is He brings up so I mean he starts with a rhetorical thing, and he says so your argument was what was your argument again? What was the basis of your argument?
So essentially attacking his irrationality again,
Right.
as far as he's not his bringing in the
right, and then bloodthirstiness. Right. Okay.
and,
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So his rhetorical argument is basically like, if that's what gets the job done, then that's what gets the job done. Like I am a man of hard truths, and if sometimes you have to make hard decisions as the leader of this church, and I don't think you're prepared to make those, Sergio. Like the if death is what has to happen to solve this problem, then death is what has to happen. He's taking like a very pragmatic approach. And I think he says, he brings up church law, and he says, it is completely within my legal right to do this. And it's true. Like, it absolutely is. They're pronounced heretics, and therefore they have forfeit their lives. That is legitimately part of the law. And so he has the absolute right to do this, and anyone who's in the Wharf district is obviously working with them, because everyone knows that's the district that the cultists are in, and so they're there. It's totally legal, which kind of has some validity to it, because it's been quarantined off from like the rest of the city, and that's where the cultists hang out and all that stuff. But yeah, it is stretching a bit. But then he brings up a doctrinal point, and he says, like, again, I am the supreme authority of this church. I have God-given divine right to make these sorts of decisions and to make them, even though they don't seem good. And if you want to call that irrational, then, that's fine. But then you're calling God irrational. He also brings up, I mean, he waxes poetic through all of this. So he has oratory. So he has, let's see, he brings up more about, it's within your, you're endangering all of your immortal souls by even having this conversation. Like, having this conversation in and of itself, it could be considered heresy and treason against God. And you are walking such dangerous ground by criticizing me even too. Because again, I'm God's chosen. I'm God's chosen one. I'm God's chosen one.
Can you counterpoint in a point with like?
Yeah, you can. We can
the
have
pride of that statement thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
To say that you're perfect is.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
But then I think he ends. He ends with what you know to be a blatant lie. He basically says, what am I thinking here? No, he doesn't. I think, yeah.
I killed our parents.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all he does. So that's 5 works, I think. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4. So he has 12 dice to work with. So I'm gonna figure that out in my head. All right, I got the distribution there. So you can go ahead and just roll your dice for attack.
How much helping dice do I get?
Right. So I mean, you don't have to go too far into it. I think all of them help you here, and they just back you up with statements. Like Averio just says, "Yep, that's you're the man." I'm a teacher. I know how.
Oh,
It's like I'm a teacher. Like I know how. I know how, like, irrational arguments. I know, I deal with empty-headed students all the time. What you're saying now does not make any sense, and you're acting exactly like a brash student of mine would. And that's the thing, like, right there, if this goes sour, he's dead. Like, Averio's dead for saying that, because he just said that to the Pope, basically. So that's a very big risk on his part. It shows that he's very trusting in what your argument is here. Vada, Lydio and Denzia say the same sort of thing, waxing poetically the whole time, and just basically, proclaiming his bloodthirstiness using all sorts of descriptive language. And Vada's just smiling the whole time because he realizes, oh yes, it's about to happen. Like, this is the climax of what I've been waiting for. So you can get all 4 if you want.
Nice. So 8 total. Okay, so do you have a defensive number? Should I put in for obstacle or? Oh wait, no. Yeah.
No, it will just be whatever I roll. So yeah, I'll roll my stuff too.
Oh, 3. What?
He only got 3 too, actually, and you both got 1 6. I think he's gonna spend a fate there.
Same.
Yeah. So. Nope, he failed. You just got to get his success, man.
Oh, wait. I thought it was a 2. Hey, 4.
Yeah, so that's, you got 1 on his argument, so he is at 2. The thing is, now he's, because you made a point, now he just gets to attack you. So we'll see how well this roll goes. 4. And he has like 1 fate left, so he's gonna reroll that last 6. And another success. So he got 5. So I guess that actually didn't make sense. It's either way he would have won, but yeah, still. So he's at 2 and you're at, negative whatever. You're at -3. Okay, so the way that works, so you both end up, it's like a tie. You both have good points, and everybody around it, like all the Inquisitorial Guard, just look confused. So this is the thing. The way it's gonna work is
this Inquisitorial Guard. These are the people Vada brought in, right?
Mm-hmm, for sure. Yep.
So wouldn't they be? Okay.
Again, he would be. They're loyal to Vada. But again, this is the Pope we're talking about, and normal people who aren't politically motivated by this stuff are gonna have a hard time trying to arrest the Pope. But the way this works is tying. If both arguments are reduced to 0 in the same volley, the duel is a tie. Neither party is in a position to leverage a victory. 2 options are available. The characters can part ways and agree to take up the argument another time, which I'm assuming is not going to happen here, or they can agree to a compromise. So the first rule of a compromise resulting from a tie is neither party can achieve the terms he sought at the outset of the duel. And again, you can just decide to escalate and just say, nope, this isn't how we're going to do it. And Vada, if he doesn't like the way this conversation is going, if he doesn't want to give ground on this, he might still escalate. But these are the terms that you said originally. Elon Public resigns and supports me in the transition of power. That won't happen. Also, you do not have to renounce your position and accept banishment. And Vada does not have to do that either. But something in the middle happens. The way that this will work is each side sets forth a new offer, one more generous to their opponent than the original, and you choose the most appropriate one and we move on. So what would be your suggestion as Sergio here, like for a compromise that's generous to him? We'll see how receptive he is.
Fine, he doesn't have to support me then, but just step down peacefully so we don't have to, resort to any kind of violence here or anything.
Okay. Yes, you just bring up the point, you're gonna die, either way. So, or if you legitimately just say like no, like I'm not gonna do this, then we're just gonna do it anyway. Like we have you at sword point here. Um, but so I think his counter offer is, so you guys kind of like had this really long drawn out argument. You guys are going back and forth. And like yeah, you at the end of this you're like, Elon, you don't have to like it. You don't have to support me in this transition to power. You just have to step down. You just have to leave and forget all of this ever happened. Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, no, brother, that will never work. The church is too restless. I know that the Inquisition has favor garnered against me. I've seen it happen. I'm not blind. But I still have allies, and they will come down upon your head with fire if I tell them to. And he kind of looks at Vada, looks at you. I think we can come to an arrangement here, Sergio. I've mentioned that you aren't a leader, and I stand by that point. Join with me. Be my second. I was waiting for it. And be my second. Let us rule jointly. The only concession that I ask for is that we kill this treasonous man. And he like points to Vada. And Vada does not like the way this is going at all. And he's like, you don't think Sergio would actually fall for that, do you? And he kind of gives you a glance like, do you?
I mean, he's shown himself to not be a rational man. Mm-hmm. So he's not going to listen to me anyway.
So what do you want to do here? And I think like he also brings up what's his name? Elon also brings up the point like, you are in the middle of the palace, you do realize. And if you strike me down, if you decide to take any sort of action against me right now, the guards will be here. And you'll die. You may kill me, but you'll die too. This palace is crawling with people who support me, and if they know that you killed me, they'll cut you down where you stand, and none of you will stand a chance.
Wait, no, I mean, that would be a very poorly planned assassination attempt if we had no escape plan.
Right, and you do have an escape plan. Yeah, you absolutely do. He's
okay.
Yeah. I'm not saying for sure.
Just bluffing.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, there might be some truth to that statement. Like, it might be difficult for you to get out if you literally just, like, cut him down here and just, like, run. But, like, there's also a big, there's arguments for either side. Yeah, so do you tell him, like, you're an unstable man, like, I can't work with you?
Yeah, something like that. That would have been great in the beginning.
Yep.
That would have been everything.
Yep.
And
this is the thing, like he's only doing this now because he's desperate, because he realizes that you guys can run him through at any point.
But you have proven yourself to not be willing to listen.
Right, and then he gets even desperater, and he says, "Fine, then you can lead, and I'll just advise you. You have to believe me that you won't be able to get away with just usurping me." And Vada looks at you like, "Don't you dare."
Well, of course he does, because he wants the advising.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know.
just for reference that you don't forget she's there, Ipana is actually still in the room. You know, she's kind of like in the corner, like curled up in a
Oh.
ball, like just
Oh.
wanting all of this to be over.
Okay.
Averio is looking at you like, what are we doing, man? Sorry, go ahead.
Not second in command, and not immediately. He would counter with, you step down for a period of at least 6 months, or until this crisis is over, and then we will reinstate you back on the council as
like a bishop or something.
On the, I assume there's some kind of council of advisors.
Council of bishops, basically. Yeah.
You are still family, brother. I don't.
So yeah, he nods and he's like, "Thank you. I accept." And Vada steps forward and he's like, "This is not part of the deal, Sergio."
But it is though.
Okay, so you're gonna have to make a roll here. Like you could possibly persuade him of this, but you're gonna have to actually put some dice behind it. Give him a reason for why this is an okay thing.
I mean, I'm sure he knows as well as. Okay, I guess he probably knows that it's not a, like, being on that council barely gives him any power. If that like, it would probably be because.
So do you have this conversation in front of?
No, well.
Do you maybe just want to like step out into the other room real quick?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Or just like.
Yeah. He looks at you like, yeah. You just say, please, let's have a conversation real quick. Like, you know, I can explain this to you. It makes sense. And he's like, this better be good. And like, yeah, you can step into the next room.
Okay. Yeah. And then